Hi. Her name is Ashika Kumar.
And this is Scott. Say turn.
So Ashika, let's play a game.
Alright.
Yeah, are you down?
Yes.
Okay, well now let's play a question game.
Okay.
So what do you think about the police force?
Well, Scott, my stance on that is that as the years increase, the more the police department around the world has gotten stronger, smarter, and do a better job at being professionals in their field of expertise. So Scott, since you asked me a question, can I ask you a question?
Sure can.
So, why was the police department invented and how has it gotten better?
Well, to answer your question, according to the book Crime and Punishment, one of the social inventions of the first half of the 19th century was creation of the police forces. Full-time, daytime, and night agencies whose job was to prevent crime, to keep the peace, and to capture criminals.
Okay.
To answer your second part of your question, I'll say that we have to look into the history for that. What do you know about the history of policing?
Rules are governed differently in different countries, counties, and states.
Policing was a fairly well-paid job in the 1800s. About $20 a week for patrolmen, $30 for sergeants. By the end of the century, they were women.
Policing has evolved over the years in the United States. In the early years, we had constables and watchmen. According to the book Crime and Punishment in American History, constables and watchmen were for most part ordinary citizens. These citizens were white males between the ages of 21 and 60. Constables and watchmen were chosen by drawing names out of a hat.
On page 28 of Crime and Punishment in American History, it states that watchman's duty in New York circa 1689 under English rule was to go around the city each hour of the night with a bell and proclaim the season of the weather and the hour of the night. If the watchman met any people disturbing the peace or lurking about any person's house or committing any theft, the watchman was to take the most prudent way.
A faster way of transportation was needed, so the officers brought along horses. However, as a result of crime rates increasing, more officers were needed, and a quicker way to get around was needed. This is where cars began to evolve to aid officers.
The principles of being an officer is the same as a constable, but things have changed. One might argue for the better or worse, but I am going to talk about how things have changed for the better. It is a long journey, but it all starts with the police academy. For example, the Sacramento Police Academy is a post-intensive format and is 25 weeks in length. It is generally a 4 to 10 work week. There's a total of 952 hours of training. The training regimen includes the firing range, emergency driving courses, handgun training, safety equipment, hand-to-hand combat, rigorous written tests that must be passed, and physical fitness activities that include running, push-ups, jumping jacks, pull-ups, and obstacle courses that pushes and challenges the participant to their limits. The days at the academy usually begin at 6 a.m., which is really early in the morning. This is where the work begins.
After graduation, these officers protect the citizens of their community. In my opinion, the evolution of the police force has gotten better to protect and serve with better equipment.
You got £35 worth of prize open half the door.
You gonna do? Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother.
Ah! I'm falling!
I must commandeer your vehicle for police use.
What is your problem, sucker?
The job of a police officer is really dangerous. They get hit by cars, people shoot at them, they have to pull over cars, they have to go in when a bank is getting robbed, they have to have DMV checkpoints, and they have to apprehend drunk unpredictables.
This is very dangerous because they might not never go home to their wives or families after an incident that occurs. They're unsure all the time about it.
Do you think policing is effective in the United States?
Yeah, of course, I think it's necessary. Just controlling riots, like everything that always goes on, just riot control.
Technological advances has helped the cops in apprehending criminals, very much so. Back then they had horses, but since then they have a different type of horsepower. Within the cars of every Chevy Impala police car, there is a 230 horsepower engine in there, very strong. And also helping them out, besides cars, have come new innovations. With technology and the helicopter, this is where it was born, and the police officer has used it to its advantage. Along with that, boats have patrolled and helped the police in getting people.
This afternoon, the Coast Guard Auxiliary placed 2 patrol boats into the Sacramento River. They're gearing up for the next 24 hours.
Police officers do a good job with their field, but there are times when they fail to protect the public. As a student, it angers me to see how the people who are to protect misuse their powers. For example, corruption in the police department, pepper spraying people who are standing up for their rights as to increase intuition. It is a big department. Corruption is bound to happen, but a lot of good things come out of policing. One example, they have used the resources to do good things. One of the good resources they have used is recruiting dogs and horses to the force.
The dogs, horses, cars, helicopters, boats, guns, and carrying people contribute to the history and the legend of the force. This is the police.